Hey Paul, long time no see. Thought I'd start out these videos by showing you some of my tool handles and other small shop made cool little tools and little cool stuff that's cool and small. That's about it. I'm going to start with some file handles. I used to wear really god-awful, really nasty silver ring. Well, I shouldn't say nasty. Go easy on myself. Silver rings when I was in high school and I discovered that they work really well as ferrules for files and other tools like that, which is a thing you can do with old rings or even cheap rings. That was a really gaudy one. You'll see that? Wowza, I wore that like a cool kid I was. I'm really a fan of hatchets and axes, so I usually end up buying a nice head that I like and then putting a handle on it. Mallets. This is a mallet that was of course made for 10 minutes 10 years ago. And it's well beaten, it's well used, and it does the trick every time. It feels really good in the hand. If you choke up on it, you can or even hit it that way. Protecting blades. Oftentimes my 1-inch chisel, the most used chisel, I go through about one a year at the boat shop there. If I'm carrying it around in my pocket, it's nice to have a cover for it. So I make a little wooden sheath, and it's got a little spring-loaded on the back there. You can see it's kind of spring-loaded, and there's a little extra wedge of wood in there that makes it somewhat secure. Planes. So I go through like one blade for my Stanley block, or my Veritas block plane a year. I like the PMV 211 or PMV 11 or whatever they are, but this is an 01. But I ground this one to a radius. When it gets too short for the plane, grind it to a radius and then make a radius plane. This one's made, the traditional style with a wedge that is rabbited into dadoed or whatever you would call that, cut into the side of the plane. I have made ones with pins, just a pin, and they're a little easier and a little quicker. Sometimes I'll just make a plane for one job. It'll just have to do one thing once and then chuck it away. Of course you never chuck it away, but here's a little block plane. This one started about 3 or 4 times longer, and as I needed it to be shorter for a different job, I just cut it shorter. And now it's about its minimum. And I've just screwed on this wooden block to the side just so that I can get a 90-degree. Often in boat building I'll have to do a big rolling bevel, and it's just easier to have a 90-degree reference as well as a 180-degree reference or a flat reference to kind of guide you through that cut. I've kind of made the same thing, a bit of a holder for my I guess this is the medium shoulder plane, and it's just the same kind of deal. It's just a 90-degree, and of course the planking is often only a ½ inch thick, so that works just fine, and that just gets held on with a little a threaded brass plate, and Bob's your uncle. Just fits in there. Like voila. Plane handles. So I break plane handles like they're going out of style because they got the short grain, but they feel so nice in the hand. So I've made this is one I carved, I think early in my boat building career. I think that's out of mahogany. And you can see it's just kind of, I've left it faceted, haven't smoothed it out. But it don't feel great. It's a little too forward, and this is, it works. Here's the one I did recently in the shop, in my new shop. And that's like a laminated veneer handle. So here's what it looked like. I kept the cross section for demonstration purposes. And so first I bent this bend of veneer, and I think that's walnut. Oh, actually no, that's alternating walnut and mahogany. You can barely see it, it doesn't really show up. But that's curving like so. And then I added these little solid wood mahogany blocks in the corner, and then glued on the veneer on the back. And then it works well because now you've got continuous grain running through the curve of the weak spot. And so that's what it looks like all shaped up with a coat of, I don't know, linseed oil, probably, knowing me. Not linseed oil, sorry, Danish oil. I'm a big fan of the Danish oil. And yeah, that's that. Cheers. All right, Paul, well that's some small tools. I'd love to see what you got. I know you make some beautiful planes, so I know you're gonna put that to shame, but I'm all right with that. Let's see what you got. Talk to you soon.